Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is Gateway's Got It. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaybuickgmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. And 3, schedule your delivery. On top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. I can attest to this one. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick. And this episode of The Mom Game is also proudly brought to you by the McCoy team at Affiliated Bank Mortgage. The world around us is crazy and unsettled right now for all of us. So whether you're wanting to stay put in your current home or wanting a change of pace, the McCoy team is here to help. Getting pre-qualified before you are ready to sell and or purchase is always the first step in the process. Interest rates are at an all-time low, which means now is the perfect time to buy or refinance. There are a lot of mortgage companies that will sift you through their automated processes, but that's not how the McCoy team operates. When you call, email, or text Mike or his team, you'll get an actual human on the other end, answering your questions and setting you up with honest guidance. I know because I live with the man and he is constantly on his phone. Mike and his team operate in full disclosure, much like me, and will get you prepared for any purchase or refinance. Here's the deal, though. He is not going to get you in over your skis. If you can't afford a new purchase or refi, he is absolutely not going to recommend it. I know it may sound cheesy, and I know I'm biased, but my dude will take care of you. So will his team. This is their thing, and they take great pride in it, and I am proud of them for that. So give him a holler, 817-987-2200, or schedule a free no-obligation consultation at McCoyTeamMortgage.com. FDIC insured, NMLS number 402132, equal housing lender. Give him a call, y'all.
You know my latest Mike McCoy story?
Do tell.
Well, Kelly and I are looking into, we're just trying to figure out a lot of things and redoing the house, blah, blah, blah. And he had some questions and he reached out to Mike and asked him his questions. And Mike said, you know what? This is exactly what you need to do. We don't do this, but call so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and they can help you. And I feel like it wasn't just because it was Kelly. I feel like that's the way he treats his customers. So why not give somebody a call like that who's going to help you with any sort of needs that you have.
Yeah. And the market's crazy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. We're actually building a new house and we were going to stay in our current house until the new house is ready. But now we're thinking like, maybe we should go ahead and sell our house because the market's so good right now. So anyway, to be determined. Stay tuned.
I bet it's cool having like finance guy as your husband that can help figure all of that out. Because Kelly and I are both like, we need help.
But I really don't want to move twice. But I always say, I mean, like, cause he's dialed in on that stuff. And I'm like, I'll do whatever you think is best. But I don't want to do it. But yeah. So anyway, yes, give him a call if you need mortgage advice, if you need refinance advice, any of those things. He's happy to help, and we're happy to have him as a sponsor here on the Mom Game. And this is episode
Emily,
50.
we made it. We made it to 50.
We are a half a century old.
We are. Okay,
Cheers.
so are we?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's half a century, right? 50 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. What are we? This cord is making me crazy.
I have a dumb zone. 52 weeks in a year, right?
Yes.
So we're almost a year.
We're almost a year.
Yes.
And that's fitting because the pandy hit right after we started.
Yeah.
And then now the pandy's over, according to
like our show has been like essentially a pandemic show.
We're totally pandemic show.
Hopefully people have found it to be a pandemic survival guide.
Yes. But stay with us after the pandemic.
Oh yeah. Don't just come to us because you're bored as shit.
Yes.
Stick with us.
Don't abandon us.
Come because you're bored as shit. Stay because you might like us a little bit.
Exactly. Okay. Speaking of
new
that.
Logo. New catchphrase.
Catchphrase. What was it? Come
because you were bored as shit.
Stay because you
might like us a little bit.
Might kind of like us a little bit. Okay. You said it better.
Yeah.
Okay. But we are episode 50. Big news. So we tape on Tuesday. Show drops on Wednesday usually. So this particular Tuesday that we're tasting,
taping.
and tasting.
We've been here a while.
Yeah. So Governor Abbott. No, Jenkins is the other guy in Dallas. Governor Abbott.
Yes, it's Governor Abbott.
I am very
Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott, Clay
Wheelchair.
Jenkins.
Yep.
We've got a Whitley in Tarrant County. Glenn?
I don't know. Don't ask me about Tarrant County. I can only handle Dallas.
Okay. I don't keep up with politics, but my Twitter feed did.
It's just the governor. It's not necessarily
Greg
politics.
Abbott.
It's the name of the governor.
Okay. I knew it. I just get them confused, the politicians.
Yeah.
So yes, Greg Abbott said that the mask mandate is ending. Let's go to the Wednesday. And businesses are open 100%.
Businesses can be open up to 100%.
Yeah.
He's not forcing anybody to never wear a mask.
Right.
He's not forcing anybody to open their business 100%.
Right.
He's not forcing anybody to go out into the world
Or go to a concert.
if you're still scared.
Right. But
now you can if you want to.
if you want to. So Twitter exploded.
Of course.
And I'm on some the group text. Oh my God, the group text. So I'm on a group text with my tennis team, and there's people that are
tennis team.
I mean, it's not, I just drill with them. I don't even get to play, but
I don't feel like that can substantiate a text if you're not, if you don't even play matches.
But
does everyone have to have a text?
Well, if there's important drill information, I don't know. It's very loose, my involvement with the tennis team, but they're lovely women, and I like to have that outlet when I can do it. Back to the point.
Tennis is the avenue to talk about mom stuff on a text.
Yes.
I understand.
And so I get, one person sends it and they're over the moon, so excited. And then, there's another that's yikes. It's all the things.
It's too much.
And then the neighborhood mom text. And then that comes down and somebody's super excited. Somebody can't believe this has happened. And then I got on. So I'm sifting through the mom text or the whatever text strings. And then you get on Twitter and it's like, oh my gosh. So people are like, first, there's one side that's like spiking the ball in the end zone and doing the Dion shuffle, if that's a thing. And then there's the other side that's like completely appalled and can't believe this happened. And I'm just kind of like, okay, all right. Will I wear a mask? I don't know. Haven't really thought about it.
Depends where I am.
Yeah. But people are, it's just very,
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's so exhausting.
And I feel like, am I normal for not really spiking the football or throwing a fit?
The normal people like me and you just aren't raging on Twitter about our thoughts. I'd like to say, I'm not saying they're not normal, because normal people can rage on Twitter about their thoughts, but there's a lot of people like us that aren't tweeting, but obviously the ones that have their voices heard are the ones that feel like they have to make a statement on everything all the time.
Right. But absent of Twitter, just me and you talking, I'm kind of okay. Happy for businesses for sure. Yeah. The mask thing has never really bothered me. I'm like, if this is a gateway to some sort of normalcy, kick ass, I'm in. I've made it clear that I would wear a hazmat suit, whatever. But I don't know. It makes me question myself. Do I need to be more?
No.
Do I need to be one side or the other? I don't know. I just feel like
we're just trying to live life. I'm just trying to live life. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to do. I wish that I could change the world with tweets, but I can't. And I can't change the world by bitching and moaning about things that are just out of my power. So I'm going to try to just make the most of whatever situation it is that's dealt.
Right. And then you'll be called a sheep, right?
And who
then you're
cares?
Gonna be called, right. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've bawed on this show previously.
Exactly.
I don't care about that either. But I don't know. It's just so gross. I just hate it. I hate it that it's just
everything.
Because do I think honestly that masks might help? I actually do. I feel like if you're in a confined situation for 30 minutes with 30 people.
Yeah.
I feel like, let's bust them out. I mean, I feel like that helps.
Yeah.
But do I feel like they help from me walking from the front entrance of a restaurant to my table to be seated and then taking off?
Or in an empty building.
That makes no sense. Right. Well, you know what I mean? So I just
or
feel
on the sidelines of an NFL game when you run into the locker room and hug everybody anyways, but you're doing it for optics because you're on the sidelines of an NFL game.
Right.
Same with the NHL.
Right.
The NHL players right now, Emily, they go on, and I think NBA, I think they're all similar. They go on the road and they're being told they cannot do anything.
Right. They can't leave their rooms.
They just went to Florida, where I believe there was never a mask mandate. And Kelly said, he's like, no one's wearing masks. People are out partying. They're at the bar. They're on the beach. Not that we should be going that far into it, but they're in their hotel room just like watching. They can't do anything. NHL professional athletes, they're doing what they have to do. The league is doing what they think they have to do. But can you imagine what those guys are feeling? Like those guys that have had, pretty much been able to do kind of whatever you want. You earned a living for yourself and you have the means to do whatever it is that you want. And now it's hard. And it's hard because I don't think anybody knows. This is this is a pandemic. This is unprecedented. Nobody knows the right playbook. Yeah. Like nobody, okay, at this point, then you can lift the mask mandate. Right. It's like, you just do there's a lot of moving parts. And I think this is good for businesses. Like my uncle has a restaurant and he's been through hell and back, like trying to just keep the restaurant alive, trying to follow or you got to put this plastic thing up. Okay. Well, now I got to go spend a bunch of money to put this plastic thing up in between booths. And I still can't even have a full restaurant. And we were, needing a full restaurant to even make ends meet when this all started. It's hit my business. It's hit the Rangers. It's hit everybody. And all that this is saying, if you want to operate your business at 100% now, you can. There's nobody telling you that you can't. I think there's going to be a lot of businesses that don't operate at 100% because they don't feel comfortable, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of people that wear their masks because they don't feel comfortable not wearing their masks, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
But now you have the freedom to make the choice.
Right. And I think, now that we're this far into it, we have a little bit, we have a lot more information on this thing. Is it going away? No, I don't believe that. And I would never try to read into the mind of a politician, making decisions based on, trying to get reelected or whatever that is. Yeah. But I guess just the whole, I don't know, the social media and the snark that's involved and the, like I said, the spiking of the football or the throwing of the fit, like it's just gotten
it's
so
like virtue
gross.
signaling. I don't know. People just feel like they need to say their piece. Maybe it makes them feel better.
Well,
maybe it's therapeutic for them.
But I can't say that I'm not I'm not. I've done that. I've done that before. Something I feel passionately about.
And it probably makes you feel better.
Social
to put it out there.
Issues, different things like that. Like I've shared my thoughts on those, and they do make you feel better to an extent. Because I think there's sometimes when you're like, I want people to know this is where I stand, and I don't know if it's just validation for, personal validation to where like, okay, I'm going to put this out in the universe. So then that way everyone knows this is where, if there's ever a doubt about what I feel or what I believe or what I view, just look at my Twitter feed, which sounds ridiculous, and then also too, it can be therapeutic in certain ways for, in different instances or whatever. I guess to me, that's one thing. But then when you start when everybody starts going after everyone, that's what I don't get. Like if you just want to say your piece and then you say it and that's it. But then this whole it's
become normalized. It's become normalized to yell at strangers on social media and to do deep dives into people's past and figure out what their beliefs are and to really try and you want to nail somebody where it hurts. Find out how can I really hurt this person. I'm going to say whatever. But you would never say that to somebody in person. I hope not.
And you want to nail them.
And I'm never going to surround myself with people that would say that to me in person. But that's what's so weird about Twitter and social media, right? But we also need to do it, and it's popular. I say all these things about it, but I'm still on it and I still enjoy it. And there's still a lot of it that I love.
I guess just like with anything, it's not going to be all good and no bad.
Yeah.
I just feel like in certain situations, it just becomes so much heavier on the bad side. Like for example, so we had just this week, our friend Jane Slater, who is a personal friend of mine, got into this whole viral issue about unpaid internships. And so she posted, not even for herself, for a friend, like, hey, somebody's looking for an intern to do this. It's like, she didn't specify in the original tweet, but basically it was like couple days, couple hours a week. Unpaid, whatever. And then apparently people went nuts that you're exploiting and blah, blah, blah. Well, so for me, as someone who had 2 unpaid internships in college, I'm thinking, what? This is totally normal, especially in broadcast media, because you're looking to get in any way that you can. The jobs are so limited and you're trying in any way to get to get your foot in the door. And so, but then it turned into, so a little bit of backstory on Jane and I. So when I was the sports director in Lubbock, a guy that was on the tech football team was friends with Jane and said, she's trying to get into the business. She needs help, blah, blah. And I said, tell her to come. She went to UT Austin. I said, tell her to come here for a weekend. She can stay here. She can follow me around for a couple of days. We'll put together a tape
Go to
for her.
some
Blah,
keggers.
blah. No keggers, I don't think.
I did that when I went to visit my brother.
Yeah, we may have.
Lubbock.
And so I offered her that opportunity. She took it. We got her a tape together. She went all over the place. I think she was in Tyler.
You helped her make a tape?
Yeah.
Look at you. That's awesome.
So but okay, I want to say this too. Jane is white, blonde hair, very pretty, whatever. I would have, if somebody on that, anybody on that team would have said to me, Emily, I've got something, I swear I swear to anything, I would have said the exact same thing.
Of course.
So that's a pre-qualifier for the fact that, so I commented to Jane, like, you want back pay on your internship in Lubbock. Or I think I even botched it. I said, I think I want back pay on your internship that I gave you.
I was following,
Send me
like,
Venmo.
she said, like, she quote tweeted and said, so does this mean that I should be charging people when I help them?
Right.
And then that's when you're.
And so, and then it turned into white woman privilege. And I was like, whoa. Wait a minute. Yeah. And I like to, I consider myself very socially proactive. And do I know everything about, all systemic things? No, I don't. But I also consider myself very sensitive to those issues and I've tried to educate myself a ton on those issues. And so when you get hit with that, you're like, you're like,
wait a second, what?
Wait, what is that? And then I'm like, and then I wanted to say, hey, I had 2 unpaid internships in college. I also worked 2 jobs, paid my way through school, graduated in 3.5 years. I busted my ass.
Yeah.
But automatically you assume that, Jane or whoever, that bothers me. And I realize that systemically are unpaid internships wrong? Probably so. Now that I think about it, for sure. 20 years ago, that's all I didn't even know people who did paid internships unless they were like business people. But like no one in TV was getting a paid internship in college.
Absolutely not.
And so for me, it was like, this is just second nature.
Right.
And so then when you get slapped, and I will admit, like my eyes did open up about like the whole systemic thing. Like, do I see where only people who have money are able to take unpaid internships? But that's not the case because there's people who, you know what I mean?
There's will there as well.
Right.
That gets you there.
For sure. And so, but I realized that like why there's a problem with it systemically, that like you're taking advantage and whatever. I still would have done the same thing. I still believe that there is opportunity in, and getting that experience and not being paid. But I see where the systemic issue arises. Right. And I don't necessarily feel like it's a race issue at all. I feel like it's an opportunity issue for sure. And I might get blasted for this, for not whatever. But like I said, I consider myself my eyes very open to social issues and stuff like that. And so when you get attacked like that, you're like, damn, I mean,
yep.
What's a girl got to do?
It's hard right now. I think there's somewhere in between, right? And people, you don't have to be somebody that's saying, okay, so somebody like you and I, right? Like just because we might have succeeded to some level in this industry and because we are white, does that mean that we deserve it more than anybody else? Or does that mean that we didn't work as hard as anybody else? I think that's what's kind of hard for me with all of this. But I'm somewhere in between. And like we were talking about with the mask mandates and everything else, there's always going to be the people that are just looking to come after somebody, and to argue on Twitter. And maybe that makes them feel better. I agree. Like I understand the underlying issue with all of it.
That's it is. Is that a widespread issue of people being taken advantage of by? And I'll plead, not that this is a defense, ignorance. Like I didn't even know. I mean, I knew they started moving toward paid internships. Like, I think it was like, it's became some sort of a law. Again, don't know all the facts.
Well, and they're
obviously.
working on minimum wage and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. But I guess too, I just don't, and then too, like, then they came after Jane. They came after her grandfather, who was a successful
dug
executive.
up, like, history on her family. I'm like, that's obtrusive. Like, that would make me, I mean, and you saw the spirit of what she was doing. She was trying to help somebody.
Yeah. And she recognized that she didn't appreciate the systemic nature of what people were talking about.
And people might be hurting, and people might be going through issues, and that's fine.
And if you're trying to educate
let's be productive about it.
Right. If you're trying to educate me on that, eyes opened. I'm in. But when you start going after people and saying, white woman privilege, and start talking about how, so she can't have work ethic because her family had money.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair either. Like, I don't.
There's a happy medium in between.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do I realize that there are certain things that are in place that benefit certain races and genders, and absolutely. But do I think you can personally attack someone based on those generalizations?
Right.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either. And there is some benefit to, and this is what she was trying to say, I think, and we think is almost normal. Like, there's benefit to getting in and watching and observing the way a cool place that you want to work operates without being paid. Like, you can learn a lot. If someone's giving you an opportunity to just get in there, maybe it's not a full, like, do this, do that, do this, and this is going to be a 6-month internship and I'm not going to pay you anything. But there's benefit to just getting in and watching and learning. And I know that's what I did.
Right. And I think that's what she was saying. Like, she should have put more qualifiers in there before the
Twitter
wolves
mob
came out.
The Twitter mob.
I mean,
I'm scared of it. Like, it's scary.
Well, and the thing is too, is when I responded to her tweet, like, I never in a million years. And then I go to my Twitter feed, I refresh, and then it's just this,
because it became a litany thing.
A litany.
It was like trending on all of Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's something, when she tweeted that first tweet, I was like, like, just because you know how Twitter is, people are on edge. It roots back to the last president and the campaign and everything else. People are on edge, and it might make them feel better to attack somebody on Twitter.
And I will say, she dug in, because she's very headstrong. She's a strong person. And so she dug in because she knew she was coming from a good place. She was trying, right. And so in that, then you're digging in. It just becomes this, like,
and then the more and more people get to hear about it, and all they hear is like, oh, this white girl over here that has this, like, pretty great job is trying to say that she didn't, whatever. So it's hard. The mask, Twitter these days is super exhausting.
It's very exhausting. And I've thought about, and so now I've gotten to where I post so little compared to what I used to. But, well, I will say this. So as soon as the mask thing and the open businesses came down, like an hour in, and I was like scrolling through, and then I just tweeted, can we go back to unpaid internship talk? It's just. Was
that well received?
So well received. I haven't looked. This was just before the show started.
Yeah.
I can only imagine
And that whole thing, just because, like, someone like Jane tweeted that, it's just so weird to me that that's how it,
things that take off.
Snowballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is terrifying if you're in the middle of one of those.
Oh my God.
Like, because
next step is everyone's trying to cancel everybody.
Right. So what I've learned is, when I've said something that has been controversial on Twitter or something, the vast majority of the time when it's gotten big play, or where it's got, kind of grown some legs, I feel like it's pretty 50-50. I've got people hitting me from all ends. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that actually kind of makes me feel good, because it's like, okay, I'm obviously not pandering to one side or pandering to the other. I'm staying in my lane, which is where I am. Whereas I do feel like there's a bit of showmanship on Twitter these days, of people wanting to be perceived as this, I am on this side, or I am on this side, and I am of this mindset. I feel like,
if you post a certain way, you'll get all these likes and comments and blah, blah, blah.
Yep. There is a certain amount of pandering that's absolutely going on. And listen, and if that's it, I've said this a million times. So my, a family member of mine, and I may have told you this before, is a bit on the conservative side. And Henry wore a LeBron James jersey one day to, like, his sister's soccer game or something. And this family member was not pleased with that. And I was like, why do you care? It's whatever. LeBron is not on my team. Like,
kind of a big deal.
But listen, LeBron James, say what you want about him. I mean, regardless if you root for the Lakers, which who does, the man has done some really incredible things in the education domain in a lot of different areas. So, he's like, I mean, I just can't stand that guy. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't root for him, but he's done some pretty kick-ass things as, a community leader. He's like, well, I mean, he just needs to keep his mouth shut. And I'm like, well, I mean, if they're going to keep putting a mic in his face, he can, I mean, he doesn't need to use his platform for stuff like that. I'm like, here's the deal. His platform, he can do whatever he wants.
People are asking him.
Right. And that's the thing is, so in a way, that's what social media is. Mm-hmm. This is your platform and you use it however you want. And so as consumers, it's up to us to eliminate. And so yesterday I blocked like 10 people because I was like,
fun.
I'm just out. Like I'm out on that. There's no,
and it's not.
And every once in a while I'll respond with a ha 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 ha, like a big ha ha ha, just because that kind of makes me feel better. But it's our responsibility as consumers to decide how we're going to handle that. Are we going to let it drive us nuts, which I do at times, or are we just going to move on from the people who are toxic? Now, what I don't want to do is only move to people. I only follow people who think like I do and who tweet the same things as I do and who, vote for the same people as I do. I don't want to do that because I want to be exposed. I just can't be exposed by anyone who's so far over here or so far over there.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like I can't reach either one.
Somebody whose first line of attack is, or first like thought is like, I need to attack somebody.
Yeah.
Like that's just not me as a person. And I wouldn't put those people around me in real life.
Well, and I've fallen into this too, where you're trying to be funny on Twitter and then you become snarky. And then it's just like, it's just this whole snark fest.
It's,
and I am a guilty party here. I'm not saying, let me tell you, I've got this whole Twitter thing figured out. No, I mean, I've done the same shit, but it's like, I wish it wasn't like that, but it's part of it. I mean, and it's
a very heated climate right now.
It's your
it's
platform.
Never been this bad.
Well, I mean, we're in a pretty good run here.
People are on edge in general. It's been a year of like COVID and then the presidential race. People are just on edge.
So do you find yourself like, I do find I am more on edge. Like I don't even feel like it's outwardly, but I feel like inside me that I'm like,
oh yeah, because.
And I'm trying to contain it, but I'm like, where's my outlet? Like, do I need to do a kickboxing class or?
That would be good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the deal. Everybody's
doing. Never mind. I was doing it.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
You should do it. Whatever it was. You should do it.
Whatever it was. Just do
whatever it was. No, everybody's on edge. And you know what? That's the only reason, like maybe it was too soon to say this, to alleviate the mask mandate for the whole state, but I just want things to get back to normal. And the masks to me are a reminder that like, F, and then I get all stressed out again. Like just even the little like thing that sparks you and says, oh yeah, we're in this pandemic and oh God, I can't like breathe easy.
Right.
So,
okay. There is a bit of news you have to share though.
Yes. I was able to get a vaccine yesterday.
Okay. Awesome.
I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah.
At all.
I feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, and I feel like especially like in Tarrant County, there's kind of some random, here's your thing.
I think it's going to be funky for like the next week or two. And then it's going to be like, everybody's getting it. That's how I feel. I registered about a month and a half ago, just on the Dallas County website and just filled out, your medical history. It said cancer on it. And I clicked the box because I had it. I don't have it now, but I had it.
You did.
So, and there was no way to differentiate if I have it now or had it then. So I clicked cancer and then, I filled everything out and then I didn't hear anything. It was kind of weird. Like you don't even hear like, we've gotten your survey and we'll get back to you, like nothing.
Right.
Like when you order something online, you always look for the confirmation. If I don't get the confirmation, I'm like, I email them. I'm like, did you get my order? Is it coming? What's the deal? There was no confirmation. So that was like a little bit of anxiety. But I was like, well, like, I'll see if I hear anything. I'm not going to go seek it out because I think I have a little bit longer with the antibodies. So I wasn't like super stressing it. But I got a text 2 nights ago that said like, click here and sign up to get your vaccine. So I clicked on it. I signed up and I followed the instructions. It was like a QVC code that came in the email and I was just supposed to screenshot it and that's all you needed. So, they actually said, you know, it wasn't like print this out. A lot of things you have to print and then you're like, I need a printer, I need ink. And then I've got to remember to grab that paper. That's how I am at least.
That's what my mom had to do. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like, just screenshot this, you know? And so I did. And I went yesterday right after work. I signed up for like a 1 hour window, which silly me, I thought that meant like I'd be done within an hour. But I went right after work, 4:00, and it took a while. I think that must be like, I don't know. I don't know if they regulate the amount of people that can sign up for that window or not, but it was a busy time. And it took a while. I was sitting in the car over an hour, and then I got the vaccine, and then I sat, you know, the 15 minutes that you're supposed to wait to make sure you don't have a reaction.
Did you stay in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom had to get out and whatever.
I think depending on the place, like this was Fair Park. So it was like a massive like vaccination
I think that's what they're doing at TMS, right?
Probably.
In the car.
Just in a big like parking lot. If you have the space to have a bunch of cars, then I think you can stay in your car.
So they're doing it Globe Life Field, but you park and go in. They're not distributing it.
You go into the...
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
concourse.
Yeah. So, I mean, despite like it taking a little bit of a long time, it was easy. I felt like they were really organized. There were tons of people, which I assume are volunteers, which is awesome. I was looking at them all like, you're such a better person than me. Like, I can't imagine. One guy was like, I was trying to exit and he was counting my time. They write like what time you can exit based on when you get the shot on your car to make sure you sit for the 15 minutes, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And he was like trying to tell me this or that. And he was just like stumbling over his words. He was like, sorry, I've been here since 7:45 a.m. I was like, bless your heart. Like, you've got to be a volunteer. Like, that's awesome. So a lot of people I feel like are spending time and effort in all trying to get this done. FEMA was there. Which is like the national like help, you know, that they sent in.
That's who's running the ballpark.
It
Globe
makes
Life
it
Field.
feel like really like
it's all soldiers in there.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Soldiers. Like a soldier gave me my shot. Like, I was like, I said on the radio today, I was like, I was sitting there filling out my form, you know, writing my name and my birthday. And I look up and there's like a soldier with a needle. Like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, it was just it felt like kind of a historical experience in a way, you know, like I'll probably be telling my grandkids about maybe like remember that coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah. Let's hope that we're done with it.
I'll tell you about the day I got my shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's going to be me.
Well, and here's another thing. Like some people are like, I can't believe you would get that shot. And it's like, okay, that's cool.
Like,
you don't want to get it. Don't get it.
What's the alternative?
Right. If you don't want to get it, you don't want to get it. Like that's, I don't think anybody should be forced to get it. By any stretch.
They're not forcing anybody, yeah.
No. But I also don't think that people deserve to be called sheep or whatever if they decide to get it.
Right.
Same way with wearing a mask. If you want to keep wearing a mask, get after it.
Right.
Get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's how we feel.
Yeah. So
that's how we feel about everything.
All right, I feel better. What about
you?
We
feel the way we feel. And I think the underlying thing is like no judgment.
Right.
We're all doing the best we can.
Right.
Momming, life, working, masks, Twitter. We're all doing the best that we can.
Yeah. And also while I feel like this is the one thing that if I could have one wish, well, no, it's probably a lot of wishes. This would be down on the list. I mean, I've got a lot of wishes.
Okay. Well,
but like
the bundle of wishes.
That just everybody would like, it's okay for everyone not to think just like you. Like it's okay.
No matter the end of the spectrum.
Right. That it's okay to understand other people's perspectives and other people's point of views, realizing that we are all molded by our experiences and we've not had the same experiences in our life. So why would our thoughts be the same? Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be. It doesn't make sense for them to be. You were raised differently than I was. It's why would we have the same thoughts and beliefs? And can we just, for the love of God, just maybe
stop
listen
yelling on Twitter
and stop yelling, period. And just listen. Like I'll listen. Like I said, that whole unpaid internship thing, I thought these people are out of their damn minds. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute, step back. I see this whole where it would be taking advantage of, okay, I'm in. Let's talk about that. But also too, that because unpaid internships were the thing when I was, and so I just didn't know any different. So anyway, so happy to be enlightened by that. Happy to be enlightened. Happy to have my eyes open to that. But there are some, I mean, and again, it's not like I've got this shit figured out. I don't have anything figured out. But like, if people would be more inclined to just listen to other people's perspectives, you might not agree, but at least it'll open your eyes to certain things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
100%. It might be too much to ask.
Yeah. And then too, the other thing is I can't stand on Twitter is the Twitter high horse. And listen, I've been on it before and fallen flat on my fucking face. But like that Twitter high horse is so high. And I feel like so oftentimes it comes, and I hope, and someone will go and find something where I've done wrong, but I hope the times that I've been on my Twitter high horse that no, never mind. I can't even say it because I know I haven't. Never mind. It's just sometimes yeah. And I feel like you said, like with the aggression that's out there, like we use that as.
That's like a way to just get your aggression out.
It is.
Maybe we all need more kickboxing, martial arts. Tennis is good for that. That's why I've got a hell of a serve.
There you go. Oh, I'm sure.
Because my effing aggression you know what I say for the tennis court? That's going to be like, I'll exert my energy. I'll burn some calories, maybe have some fun. That's a lot better than yelling on Twitter.
I know. Yeah.
But whatever.
I know. You've done way less yelling on Twitter than I have. I don't think you probably haven't done any.
God, no.
You're not a big yeller
Every
on
once
Twitter.
in a while, I'll try to like at least defend myself if someone's being mean, but I try not to yell because I don't yell in real life. So why would I yell on Twitter? It's the same thing.
Do you yell at your kids?
There's a point. Yeah. Like there's a point where I need to yell at them and it never works. Just like our friend Amy McCready said. Oh. Your kids change their behavior when they get yelled at?
So it will be like, do this, nothing, and and then they're like, whoa.
And then they behave?
Well, I mean, they at least listen and follow because then at that point they're, slightly scared of me and they're like, she's going to lose her marbles.
Ryder just yells back at me. And then it becomes
there's no yelling back. It's silent.
Oh, he's 5. Like he just argues. Anna completely different.
He'll be great on Twitter.
If you yell at Anna, she like starts crying. She's like, like she's just a sweet little soul. And Ryder, it'll serve him well.
He'll crush it on Twitter.
He'll cry. God, I hope he's not yelling on Twitter.
Crush it on Twitter.
If my son's a Twitter yeller, like,
no. Listen, I can think of a couple times that I've Twitter yelled, and now I'm going to go and delete them on my timeline. No, I'm just kidding. No, like I said, it's not like I'm got this shit figured out, but
yeah.
I know
times are cray, but I feel like things are going in the right direction. Vaccines are being distributed pretty efficiently.
They are.
I feel like in a month or so, at least step 1 will be like, hopefully Gen Pop will be vaccinated.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
And then maybe our show can move forward out of our pandemic era.
I know.
And into a real world era.
Remotes.
Get on some remotes. Go see some businesses.
Yeah. I know
that kind of thing.
Greg McCarthy at Legal Draft Brewing in Arlington has been dying to have us.
Oh,
but
well, perfect.
It hasn't been the best time. So
yeah,
I'll reach out to him and maybe he'll
get us back on board. All of that.
Okay.
Do we need a quick sports?
We can.
You want to?
Yeah, we might as well. We can. It's not much sports to talk about.
There's not. Yeah. Rangers have started. They've had a few Cactus League games.
They have.
So I'm wondering what your participation level is like, how you're covering it. Do you miss being there?
Lots of Zooms. I absolutely miss being there.
Yeah.
This is kind of my time that I would get to know the new guys. It's such a chill environment that you can just kind of, I would go there and work out, run to the ballpark and go hang out in the clubhouse and shoot the shit and, learn, just learn about the new guys. And hang out. And so that's been hard to not be there. It's been a lot of Zooms, which are fine, but it's not the same. I do worry that my job revolves so much around that interaction and the development of those relationships. And it's hard.
Yeah.
But it is what it is and there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, it's been good. They all seem to have a good attitude. I think everyone has a good attitude in the spring. Mm-hmm. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of how this thing unfolds. And it's one thing to play, and I feel like NBA's handled it pretty well. NHL's handled it pretty well, but they've had some hard hits, and you've got, they've got spaces between games, for the most part, NHL and NBA. Mm-hmm. Baseball, it's like, you're playing 10 games in 10 days. And so if you get hit with that COVID, you're going to,
take the whole team down real quick.
It'll
be interesting to see if they do get vaccinated.
Yeah.
how that will,
but you know, it's
how
funny.
that will affect things.
There's some guys I've talked to, not necessarily on our team or whatever, guys I've sampled around baseball. There's a ton of them that do not want to get that vaccine.
Really?
Yeah. And you know, when I've asked, they're just like, just don't trust it. I'm like, cool, totally your prerogative. Fine. But yeah, there's a ton of them that won't get it, that are not going to get it.
That'll be interesting then.
Right.
Like, it'll be an interesting science experiment.
I know.
And like see how that goes.
Right.
Like, well, if everyone's vaccinated,
Yeah. And
will
they
there be
can't,
no
I mean,
spread?
I don't think they can make them do that. I don't know though.
Probably not,
I don't know
no.
the logistics on it. But my whole deal is I want the vaccine because I feel like at some point that little vaccine card is going to let me travel where I want to
Where do you
travel
wanna go?
without having Mexico. I don't know.
You want to go back?
Yeah. Oh yes. Mexico. I don't know. I mean,
That probably will. We'll probably
You know what
need
I mean?
those
That
to
you'll-
travel. And
right.
we haven't seen our family in Canada in like
right.
over a year.
Yeah.
You know, when we were texting with them, I guess they're having a really slow vaccine rollout.
Yeah.
So they're like,
Other states are. Yeah. Guatemala.
we're
I don't
doing
know.
we're doing well, I think, with getting everybody
Yeah.
vaccinated here.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Stars.
Yeah. So the Stars, I think at this point have lost 8 of 9 games. They had a complete gut punch in Florida. So the Florida Panthers are a really good team this year. Like historically, they're not good. So you kind of hear, oh, we're going to Sunrise, Florida, which is just uncomfortable. I'm like, where is that? It's outside of Fort
didn't even
Lauderdale.
know that was a
And then they're the
place.
Panthers. Like the whole thing seems uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
The Panthers in Sunrise, Florida playing
I love
hockey.
it.
But they kicked our ass, man. I mean, they won 2 of 3 against us. And then they had a game, the last game, which looked like we were going to win. The Stars were up 2-0 going into the third period and then gave up 3 quick goals. Our rookie goaltender, Jake Ottinger, was in net, and I felt bad for him because you could tell that he got a little rattled. The team got a little rattled, and that's a hard one to take when you have a bad loss like that. So it was interesting to see how they were going to recover, and then they went to play the Tampa Bay Lightning, who won the Stanley Cup in Tampa Bay. That's where the game was on Saturday night, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll re-rack. We got this. Anton Hudobin is back in net. You know, the team will learn from it, and they got drilled 5-0. So at that point, I was just feeling like deflated. I'm like, I don't even want to think about it for a while. Kelly and I have been doing this for like 10 years. You know, it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
But they're playing they're playing in about 40 minutes, and they're starting a 6-game homestand. And I feel like this is make or break.
Here we go.
In order to make the playoffs. They're last
right.
in the division right now.
I mean, you can bounce back. Look at the Mavs.
You can bounce back. They're also dealing with injuries, so that makes it harder to bounce back. But we'll see. I'd love to have Tyler Seguin. He's unavailable. Alexander Radulov unavailable. Rope Hintz is hurt. A lot of the guys that you look to for scoring.
Yeah.
So we'll see. More than anything, I want good things for the head coach, Rick Bowness.
Yeah.
He's just an awesome dude, and he's kind of in his twilight of his career where he could have retired, but he took this 2-year contract and felt like he had something
super
here.
Good dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping they'll get it together.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Just got to get into the dance.
Just got to get into the dance. That's exactly right.
And the Mavs are back above 500.
Mavs
which
are
is
back
awesome.
one game above
Luka's
500. They're looking really
stupid.
good now.
Yeah. I mean, Luke is just stupid good. And now he's ripe old age of 22.
22.
Turned 22.
And Kristaps is looking good. He's such a hot button topic for whatever. I feel like it's not warranted. I'm like, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's good. He's dealing with a couple injury things. But I think he had 18 points last night in his second game back after missing 3 games with back issues. So once they're rolling, I feel like they're rolling. They were waiting to get all of their players healthy post-COVID, where they lost a lot of guys for quite a while due to COVID. So I think they can challenge to get in the playoffs in a 7-8 spot.
Yeah.
So
maybe even as high as 5-6. I mean,
why not?
They won't host in the first round for sure.
Yeah.
And then you've got Dak and the Cowboys. So it's just basically cue up what we said 6 weeks ago.
I feel like there's
thing.
it's even getting weirder though.
I know.
Why would they have
Russell
not
Wilson.
figured it out? If you really want this guy, you make it work.
I know.
If you really want Dak as your quarterback, you make it work.
Drama? Is
Jerry
doing it
Jones
for drama?
gets what he wants.
I know, but is Jerry doing it for drama?
But what is he getting out of it?
Everybody's talking about this shit.
But everyone's
every
even
day.
stopped talking about it because it's been so long now.
No.
Everyone's talking about Russell Wilson. Everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers. Everyone's talking about even Ben Roethlisberger.
But they're talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's kind of hit a lull though.
I know. Well,
I don't know. I feel like Jerry's not sure.
Maybe where you work. I feel like elsewhere, it's always
I mean, it's always a headline.
Yeah.
It's always like a headline that pops up.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see the whole Russell Wilson thing. I think if you're Jerry Jones, you're doing your due diligence.
Yeah.
If you hear that Russell Wilson might want out of Seattle and he's put the Cowboys on a list of 3 or 4 teams where he would go, you're like, all right, what's the deal here?
Russell and Sierra.
We'd bring Sierra to Dallas.
I mean, maybe she could come on the Mom Game.
Of course, just like Dirk and all those people that we say.
Do we mention Dirk in every show?
I think we do.
Like, I think we should compile a series of clips that mentions Dirk and he like post it, and then he'll first of all probably get a restraining order on us. And then secondly, maybe he'll just feel so sorry for us that he'll be like,
you know what? We've tried everything else.
Okay.
Why not try that?
Dirk,
we'll get the sympathy vote.
We love you,
He'll
Dirk.
just feel bad for us.
Yeah.
He's a sweet man.
I will say though, he's been very absent on social media.
He's been absent in general.
I think it's because
he's decompressing.
Yeah. Or maybe it's because we keep talking about him.
I think it's because of us.
Just kidding. Dirk,
I'm holding out hope. You know what? I feel like now that we're 50 episodes old,
50 episodes in,
it makes us like
we've
legit.
got Mike Modano, the greatest American-born hockey player to play the game, coming up next week.
We do.
I mean, we've had our moms on.
Our moms.
We've had Adrian Beltre on. Like we've had
Positive Parenting Solutions.
yes.
We do it all here on the Mom Game.
We've had DFW sports
Tyler Sagan
legends.
and his girlfriend.
Yes.
I want to get Jamie Benn on because I think he's got so much personality that nobody knows.
Nobody sees.
So we'll work on that.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of DFW
You need to think of a good
sports
ranger.
legends. You know what I thought? You know what I thought about Ian Kinsler.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? Because he's zero bullshit and it's hilarious.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. I'll work
He's
on
a
Ian.
Mizzou guy. He can talk about Rangers lore.
You're right. He is a Mizzou
He is a
guy.
Mizzou guy.
And
And
then
then I
also-
want to know a little bit more about this current team. So think about that too.
Okay.
I don't know anybody.
Well, I know a few guys. Just kidding. And also too, in the coming weeks, we're going to pull back the curtain on our, if you follow us on social media, the cutting edge cryo, the treatments we've been getting done on the midsection and the facials for the cryo facials.
I have them to thank for my face.
Yes. So I've
general.
been focused on the tum-tum.
I laid off of that. There wasn't much hope.
Stop it. So anyway, we're going to have a guest on that because we've had a lot of questions about that. People wanting to know, like, what is it? Do you go into a machine? I'm like, no. Anyway, so we got lots of good stuff coming in the next 50 episodes since we're 50 episodes in now.
We're just getting started.
And it all starts next week with Mike Modano. And I will reveal one of the biggest blunders in my professional career.
Things get a little weird.
That happened with Mike Modano. Slightly embarrassing, and I officially apologize for it next week.
Don't want to miss it. All
wanna
right,
miss it.
we ready
All
to
right.
peace out?
Cheers to 50.
Cheers to 50. Oh, we made it.
You drank faster than me for once. Okay. Cheers to 50.
What's all that Twitter talk?
Wore you out. All right. Cheers to 50.
Cheers to 50.
And
thanks for bearing with us.
Mom Game out.
Mom Game out.